Welcome to another episode of You Already Successful. You, yes you, right now. Today I got a special guest on, my boy I know for 10 plus years now.
That's a long time. Time's flying.
Time flies, man. And I met this brother back. He was going to Howard at the time, and I was doing a business with my cousin called First Amendment, and we met at a mutual event. Shout out to Messiah and friends.
Where does the time go?
Crazy, man. It seemed like just yesterday.
That's wild.
So, man, a solid dude ever since I met him. Been solid ever since. We kind of stayed in touch whenever we were around and in town. But happy to have him on the show. Well-known comedian to the DMV and beyond. Also killing it with the reviews and all of that stuff that we're going to get into. Talking about my boy, Rallo Boykins.
Oh, wow. Hey, thank you. First of all, this is a nice setup. This is like the best setup for podcasting that I've seen.
Oh, wow.
This is very classy.
I appreciate it, bro.
I appreciate the professionalism.
Yeah, man. I still got some ways to go, but listen, glad you feel comfortable.
You already successful.
Hey,
already successful.
You done already hit me. You hit me back with my bar.
No, for us.
That's true. What's up, man.
It's
That's
true.
What's up. Like I said, man, I'm grateful to have you on. I know how busy you are. You got a show literally lined up every single day that you're here.
Yeah, I don't want it to be that way, but it's just the way it is. Because I'm like, damn, because you miss out on time with family. You miss out on time with friends. You just do, but
That's crazy, though, because we don't want it to be that way, but then we don't not want it, because it's like kind of, that's what I'm faced with the podcast, is like, and other stuff, other projects I'm working on, like, we're grinding, but it takes time with the grind.
It's a catch-22.
Yeah.
Like, you need the finances to do things. You need the finances to support family, to do leisure activities that you enjoy. You need the finances, and it takes time, to accumulate that. But, you should also be spending time with family and friends and, all that other good stuff. So it's just a catch-22. You just got to find a balance.
Yeah. So how do you find the balance?
I haven't been, honestly. I've been neglecting. I've been neglecting a lot of friends, family, because it's just like at this juncture in our lives, like we're like the same age. At this juncture in our lives, it's a go. You gotta go. The point where you need to be when it's like, okay, I can exhale and relax. And until you there, you just feel like you gotta go. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but
it is kind of what it is, right?
Yeah,
let the chips fall.
Yeah, man, I'm doing what I can. I got a niece I gotta catch this weekend at some point.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
So talk to me about, we just talked about Howard, right? We threw out that Howard. That's kind of where we connected initially. Just to clarify, you went to Howard. I didn't go. I'm a community college baby turn. I went to University of Maryland, but
that's what's up.
Yeah, but
Terrapins.
well, not that University of Maryland. Let me clarify.
Sure?
Nah, they call it UMUC. So it's the University of Maryland University College.
Okay.
Which, crazy enough, some of the classes are based out of the College Park.
Right.
But it's not really associated with it. So here's how I used to play it too on my resume. It's like, I went to University of Maryland, and leave it at that, right?
Listen.
Not the University of Maryland University College, which is more like the Largo branch.
The Largo. You do what you got to do. Like my cover letter, my resume is all right. My cover letter is immaculate. I could get my foot into any door the way I've crafted this cover letter. But then I come in that interview and I'm like, this ain't what we bargained for. I'm like, it's too late. You gotta hear me out.
Right, now you gotta hear me. That's what's up, man. But what's that? At Howard we connected.
We did, yeah.
How did you get into comedy? Because you were doing it from back then.
Yeah, it's so crazy. So a friend of mine, Steven Small Warner, he's a director now, producer in film in LA. Shout out to my brother. He basically dared me to do stand up. They was having like a 4th of July potluck barbecue type of situation, and like I forget what year it was, but it was like my maybe junior year. So they was doing that. He dared me because I had always been like the funny guy in our like group, our friend group. And I was like, man, let me just take a chance. Because I'm not, to that point, I wasn't a big risk taker. You know, I played a lot of things safe, even with like the major I chose and everything. But, you know, something just made me perform. And he's a convincing dude. Like, he's good with his word. So he convinced me to do it. And then I was just like, oh, okay. I mean, I think this is it. This is what I should be doing.
That's what's up. Yeah. It's funny too. We were talking before we cut the camera on that we actually went, like we graduated the same year of high school.
100%.
We know some of the same people.
We know a lot of the same people. I feel like if you went to Northwestern.
Yeah.
Because that was my neighborhood school. My parents didn't want. I'd have probably been a hoodlum if I went to Northwestern. They did the smart thing and bust me out.
Yeah, I was off to the side, man. I meet people now that I went to high school. I was like, damn, yeah, I didn't know you talked. Like, yeah, I was just chill. Yeah. I had like my circle of 2. Yeah. There was 3 of us, and we stayed out the way.
Listen, small circles good. I had a small circle at Howard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. Listen, I love small circles.
So that's crazy. So talk to me about that, right? Because you got started in comedy off of a dare, and then you start doing it.
Yeah.
And then you have a small circle. Like, if I'm outside looking in, I'd be like, yo, this guy knows everybody. You know what I'm saying? Is that like a misconception with comedians that y'all are naturally social?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a misconception. Some comedians, like I know a lot of comedians who are always on, like how they are on stage, just how they are all the time. And I'm just not that way. Like I'll perform, and then afterwards, man, I'll be chilling. I'm out the way. Like even last night at the show, man, you know, I love that everybody came out, but it's just like it'd be overwhelming, man, because it's everybody there and there's a lot going on, and I'm also trying to like oversee the show and make sure the show is straight and. Yeah, it'd be a lot. So I'll be chilling off stage. So
would you label yourself as like an introvert, or would you say you like extrovert, or would you like right down in the middle? Because I think you could personally. I'm both, depending on the group.
I can be both. Some people bring the extroverted side of me out, and then some people don't. It really depends. It depends on who I'm around. Like, you know, I grew up Fleetwood Baby Ghetto, man. When you around the Killers, you know, you chill.
Yeah, right.
When I'm around the Killers, I'll be chilling. But you know, so you know, some people bring out the fun side. So it really depends. But usually I'm introverted though. Typically.
Yeah. And so so then you got started in comedy. You kept it going. You know, was it always sweet? Was there ever a time where it was like, man, this genre is a little difficult?
I mean, it's like with anything. It's like, what is it like? It's like learning how to drive. You know, when you first driving, like you might hit somebody car opening your door. You know, you might not be able to parallel park, but you know, the more time you spend doing it, you know, the better you get. You know, some people may grow to expert level of a driver and then can do NASCAR and stuff, and some people might just get to the place where, you know, they're not crashing all over the place. So it was a learning curve, you know, and, you know, you as funny as your last show. So I got to make sure I stay, you know, tip-top shape performing. You know, I'm a very hard critic of, you know, my work. Like, I always go by my last set. I'll be like, okay, I could have touched this up, or I forgot to say this that way, you know. And that's how you make sure you stay on top of your game. Because I work with a lot of hilarious.
You do.
Like Paris Sachet and Ashley Mayo.
Shout out.
Are not even just some of the funniest comedians in the city, man. I'm talking in the nation. Like I'm in New York doing comedy, and Paris Sachet and Ashley Mayo are just they are it. You know what I'm saying? So I got to stay on top of my game when I'm working with people like that.
That's what's up, man. I mean, look, man, I'm gonna give you your props too. You are NASCAR with it too.
I appreciate
you. Know what I'm saying? We're talking about the driving analogy. You definitely NASCAR with it. And for me to see, I mean, again, thinking back, I remember shows that where y'all, you know, would buy out clubs. Y'all would get together and throw y'all shows. I mean, you're still doing that on a bigger level. I mean, the place was completely packed out. But you definitely NASCAR with it. And you talked about being a critic of your own material, which is interesting because now you also do, you know, you kind of critique films.
I do.
How did you get in that space? Because I remember Rallo Says. You were doing Rallo Says.
Rallo Says, throwback.
Yeah, bro, you're doing that. And I remember, like, you know what I'm saying, I always tapped in with that. And now this the critiques is sick.
Rallo Reviews. Shout out to Rallo Reviews.
Shout out to Rallo Reviews.
We got the merch. And that, that's embroidered. Because, listen, we're not doing screen print. If you do a screen print, that's fine. But, I want to do something special for the people.
Yeah, bro.
So I had that stitched on. But honestly, it started because, the market in terms of stand-up comedy has changed. So, of course, be funny. But now clubs and businesses and, things of that nature, they want to know what you're doing on social media. They kind of want to already scope out your following, so to say, for lack of a better word. So doing the reviews was just a part of me trying to blend my interests outside of comedy with comedy. I think that's the best way to do content, just so it's not contrived. I was like, okay, what do I like to do? Oh, I like to go to the movies. Let me blend movies with comedy. I like to play video games. So, at one point I experimented with like a video game show, and I bridged that with comedy. So that's how I, approach content in general. But yeah, I love doing the reviews, man.
That's dope though. Yeah. Like, and that's like, shout out. And if you're looking at whatever realm or space you in, that's the right approach, right? Like, what do you already do? Like, don't try to fake something because you might fool some people, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be authentic, and you're not going to enjoy it along the way. Exactly. But finding something that you kind of like doing and kind of working that in, because even with comedians, right? Yeah, different. You guys have different styles, 100%. Right? Because I know some comedians work their trauma, they go through some traumatic stuff, and then they work that in. Some people work their family in, which I know you do some of too. Yeah. But like working in the film, I think is brilliant, especially nowadays. I keep it real with you too, and my wife know. What I'm looking for, like when I have some time and I want to binge watch something or watch something, I go to your page first, and I'm looking at your reviews, and I'm like, all right, who he give 2 mean mugs to? I'm staying away from that joke. Or the head nods. All right, I'm gonna check this out, and I literally have checked out some stuff, and that's been cool too. It's like a byproduct. Not only like are the reviews hilarious, but they're also like spot on. But then too, I can kind of watch a movie based off of that. Yeah, and they need to cut you checks too. So we need to, get them sponsors connected, because I watch a lot of stuff based on your direction, and then I look at it from a perspective of like, oh yeah, I get what he was saying, what he meant here. Or like rarely, I would have a different take. But it still is cool to kind of like see if we agree or landed on the same 100%. Same thing, man. But that's a dope space.
Yeah, I like it. Like, it's not like music. I think music is much more like taste specific. But film, I think, is general enough. And typically, I try to give a unbiased view or whatever I'm watching. Sometimes people, cause I like sad endings. Like, it's stuff I like about movies that people might not mess with, but I appreciate when people tune in and watch the stuff. Leave a comment if it ain't popping up on your feed. It's because you got to leave the comment. People, you just watch, and the algorithm might not pick that up. So watch, like, leave a comment, and it'll probably pop up on your feed a little bit more. I'm seeing something like at least twice a week.
Yeah, man, it's dope because too, I know that you're being not biased, because you would watch maybe a film that another comedian did, and you would think like, oh yeah, that's a comedian, like a superstar person. Like, he ain't about to, oh no, he just ripped them. Like, that Kevin Hart last movie was trash. You know what I'm saying? It was not trash, but it was like, what, 2 mean mugs?
I think I gave it 2, maybe 1. The one with Woody Harrelson, I didn't think it was that good. The other one was okay though. The one you just did with what's his name? Not Matt Damon. It's one of them white dudes from Boston. Marky Mark.
That one.
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, but Kev, he do the silly, like when he does those films, it's like silly type of,
Yeah, let me clarify. In the rare event Kevin Hart actually sees this, you got some good movies too. Just the one that I just referenced though, just for me, but like I said, you give an honest take, which I think is important because
it's tough too. Every once in a while, somebody I know will hit me up like, "Hey, can you watch this?" And I always tell them like, "Yeah, I'll watch it and I'll review it. 1, I'm gonna charge you. 2, even though I'm still gonna be honest. Like, are you prepared for the honesty?" And they take a step back and they be like, Usually they be like, no, but sometimes they be like, do it anyway. I was like, all right.
So hold up, you're getting paid in some instances to do reviews.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Whoa, that's what's up,
yeah,
bro.
100%. Yeah, because you know, honesty is valuable.
Yeah.
And at the very least, people know I'm being honest.
But from a business perspective, like thinking about the lane, like you were already, and we gonna bridge the gap down the road about making that connection with you already successful, but you were already doing it from before we met. And then you were doing it consistently on another level. And now, you know, you're on another level with it and branching off to stuff that you already do anyway.
Yeah.
To not just doing that as it's related to comedy, but now it's like a business model where you kind of getting some revenue from doing something that you naturally like, that's giving you material as well and helping to spread.
So man, that's what's ideal, man. It's a blessing to be in the space to you be able to do that, and it's because the people really support Howard. Even people that before Howard, it's people I went to elementary school with that then pulled up at shows, middle school, high school. So it's just, you know, the support system is great, and you know I ain't fucked nobody over, so that's. I don't know if we can cuss. So that's important.
Nah, you good.
I kept a pretty good name.
Yeah, man. Just label it with the explicit. But no, yeah, man. I mean, yes, kudos to everybody that supports you. But two, you got to give them and structure it for them to support it.
That's true.
Even the merch, you know what I'm saying? Like, I talk to my friends and people I support their stuff. I want to support it. And they try and throw it to me. I'm like, nah, I want to support it. Like, you gave me something to support. So I feel like, you know, when you set up the thing that people really believe in, then that's kudos to you, because, you know, at the end of the day, we don't just want aimless support. You know what I mean? We want that buy-in too. And I think what you have from people more than the support is like, nah, this is like legit. Like if I'm watching review, I'm watching Rallo's review. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that.
Because I know I want his take on the movie because we see it alike. And you saved me a lot of hours from tuning into stuff that I probably would have landed on.
Yes, man. I try, man. I try. It's a fun thing to do. It's a fun. Even some times where, you know, it's like, damn, I be feeling it like, man, I ain't watched something in a minute. I gotta watch something and just, you know, get it out there. You know, so it's a fun little thing. And it's more to come. Like I got a whole bunch of ideas. I just have to make the time for it. Time is like such an important commodity right now.
Yeah, man.
Like the older you get, the more you realize like my time is so, and I be charging people based off time.
Yeah.
Like you paying for the you know, the service and the time.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? So
that's a fact.
You know how it is.
But it's important too to keep rethinking, like what's the next step and what's the next layer, because I think that's part of like how you get here is based off of like the next thought, pushing the next thought, right? Like Blockbuster, we look at them, they thought they were on top of the world. Redbox came along.
Ate their ass up.
Redbox was like, nah, I'll meet you right next to your 7-Eleven. Redbox thought they was good.
They did.
Netflix
like,
came.
No, you don't even got to leave the house.
You don't even got to leave the house.
And then other streaming services was like, we could do that too. Right. And it's a circle. It's a circle. You got to keep evolving.
Yeah, man.
It's not easy.
It's not easy, and it's a lot of time and dedication to it. So, but shout out to you for always kind of thinking about the next thing, and then what's going on with social media, because I think that's a big part of it too, with that business model.
It's the biggest part. You don't, as long as people are coming to see you, you don't have to be proficient in what you're doing, honestly. It helps, but just in terms of getting the foot in the door, like, you know, the social media attention is very powerful. It's a powerful. It was a person headlining a club, and the credit was 20 million views on TikTok. That was a credit. And that's how I knew that it was a brave new world.
That's crazy.
I respect it though.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. It's not an easy thing to do, or unless everyone would be doing it. So it is a skill in itself to do it, but you just gotta understand the market has changed.
Yeah.
That's all.
You gotta understand the market has changed.
It's changed.
That's the key. So it's like, kind of pushing the next thought, but also you got to kind of be a student to know what's going on too.
100%.
And I think that's like where the Blockbusters and stuff failed. They were like, all right, maybe they had their next steps, but they were disconnected from being like a student of what's going on in the environment. Then before you knew it, they're like, all right, yeah, you got that new thing.
They was gone just like that.
But I don't even want it. So that's what's up, man. Kind of pushing that, but also assessing what's going on, because the social media is now crazy. And, you know, we always talk about in the past, network, you know what I'm saying? And we always thought about it traditionally, like, oh, I got to be in a certain space or go to a happy hour.
Right.
But now social media is like the largest network out there.
Man, when they kind of promoting my shows, man, social media. Like, because it's like, unless, ideally, you know, you would like to sit back and have the work be done for you, but nothing beats that personal touch.
Yeah.
Hitting somebody up, however you do it, calling them, texting them, voice noting them like, hey, I want you to be here for this. You know, it's just something that simple, because you can't underestimate how busy everybody is.
Right.
You know, I'm on a go. You're going. Right. Like, everybody's going. Yeah. So you have to take that extra step, you know, to reach people, because a lot of it, you know, is just white noise, you know. Social media is just a whole bunch of information.
Facts. And everybody's time like span is getting smaller and shorter.
Smaller.
And we talked about before the cameras came on too, is like importance to kind of like being consistent of what you're doing, and whatever pace that is for you.
Consistency is huge.
Consistent.
I know, man. Shout out to, it's a comedian out here, Goofy Jones. I think his name's Terry Jones. Like, huge, man, pumping out. I don't know if he got somebody shooting the stuff, but he puts stuff out at such a high clip, and you gotta respect that.
Yeah, for sure.
You gotta respect the consistency. Consistency is huge.
But also talk about like how much work goes into like just a clip, right? Or for you, like a review.
Well, reviews are easy. I'm not gonna lie. I just have to be funny saying the intro. Reviews, making a time to see the movies, is fitting that in the schedule is harder than actually doing the review, because you know it's a movie. But like skits and sketches are different, because then you need somebody shooting it. You need to make sure the sound. Because I did a web series called Niggas Excuse Me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And
it was hilarious.
Thank you. It was a whole production. Shout out to the guys, to lead. Aaron,
hilarious.
Jean Jacket James. It was a whole production, man, and I'm just so thankful. That's why it's also good to have a team for these bigger projects. Of course, you want to do everything yourself, cut the middleman out, and just streamline, because you know it's less, you know, opportunities for missteps when you're in control of everything. But when you got people that's all on the same accord with you, you could do bigger things. You know, a lot of the time. So shout out to the guys. But yeah, it's not easy to do.
Talk to me though about that skit, because that joint is hilarious, man. It's a play on girlfriends. So I was in the car. I was in the car one day, and I think this is when they had just put Girlfriends back on Netflix. I was like, man, they should have a show called Niggas. And I was like, it's funny because it's the word niggas. Because, you know, that's just funny. Because I think Tyler Perry got a show called Bruh. I don't know on one of them stations, but Bruh, like, we get it, but niggas is just funnier. Sometimes I lean on what sounds funnier. So I was like, all right, I'm going to sing a whole song. We going to do the intro. And I knew I didn't know it was going to go viral, but I knew it was going to be real funny. How does the intro go since you sung it?
Oh, you know what? Ooh, my niggas, they're better than a friend. Ooh, my niggas, better than a friend. My nigga, there to throw them hands. My nigga. Hey, it was so fun doing that,
bruh.
It was fun.
I watch those, you know what I'm saying, and them jokes are hilarious, and just those thoughts, man. It's just, it's cool. Not just is it funny, because I think that's like the first part, right? It gotta really be funny, and I think that's kind of what you were trying to say with bruh versus that. It's like there's some funny, but there's like politically correct funny, where it's like it kind of fell short because it wasn't really like, maybe that's right for the camera, but like when you really with your boys, you ain't really, you don't even feel that. And I think that is some of what you introduce is like authentic realness about it, so that it's you believe it and you feel it, and it hits kind of different than even some of the larger, productions and people do. I think maybe they can't or they don't because one, maybe they're disconnected from it, or two, maybe they're to a certain extent controlled.
Yeah, I think sometimes in the attempt to broaden your base or the viewership, you might water stuff down or say things you want, and I get it. Offensive language is definitely going to push people away, but I always wanted the work to reach who I wanted to reach. And if I have to say something like this in order to do that, then for a particular project, that's what I'm going to do. You know what I mean? So it's all who you're trying to reach, but I always want to be authentic.
Yeah.
Like, especially with the comedy and the humor, I wanted to, that was the idea. And when I thought of it, it was niggas. So I have to do it that way. I can't change it. I would be doing a disservice to the idea.
That's what's up, man. Which then does a disservice to like the reception.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Anybody approach you like, I like that.
You know what's funny?
Let me change it.
A lot of white people approach me to like do a podcast about it, and I'm like, that just was weird. Like, you're a white person. Why would you want to sit with me and talk about a show called Nigga? I just didn't trust that. I ain't never mess with them on that. Actually, but I just did. It was just a fun project, just to like build a writing room and actually produce a web show. Kind of, Issa Rae. Shout out to Issa Rae.
Shout out.
Like, she started similar to that. Hers was more of a dramedy. Like, it had like some heavier components. But you just gotta start from somewhere and complete a project. It was so big just to complete the project. Because I find a lot of people have these ideas and they never see them from start to finish, and they kind of will die if you don't. And they be great. They'll be great ideas, but they'll die just because you couldn't find the time to see it from start to finish. It's tough.
I see that all the time. Where it's like, it's dope, but then you're trying to do all of this versus complete this, and then you don't even do this right, and then everything else kind of. So, I mean, there's something to be said about, like, focus and pour into that thing.
Listen.
See that thing through. Because if you do that, then everything else might take off. But if you don't, then...
People who are successful, they execute these things, man. You got to execute. It's not enough just to have the $1 million idea. You got to... And, with some projects, they're bigger than others. So it's harder to do, but you got to do it.
Facts.
If you want to be successful, you got to finish things.
Fact. Have you ever thought about getting involved in the stock market? Like, you hear the market's up, it's down, it's red, it's green, it's bear, it's bull. You don't really know what that means. Or maybe you currently do already invest and you want a deeper understanding. You're just not sure where to start. You need a coach. That's where you should start. You need a coach who is an expert in that field, in that space, and is not an influencer. And there's a big difference there. So you need someone who's experienced, someone who was a broker before, right? Someone who managed branches, right? Someone who will talk to you about risk and reward, not just, dangle some money or some success stories in front of you to get you to buy into something. But someone that will give you the tools you need to be successful, using your funds yourself. I'm talking about Financially Present. You need to check Financially Present out. Head over to the website, www.financiallypresent.com. And there's something for everyone there. So regardless of what level you're on, there's something for you there. There's training, there's curriculums. Follow the YouTube page. There's merch. There's all types of things for purchase. Use my link to get 15% off. Click the link in the bio, but get involved in the stock market. Is it hard sometimes to be taken serious as a comedian, like as a friend or any relationship you in? Is it like where do you ever find yourself like, nah, I'm being serious? If somebody think you joking with them.
Oh, well, maybe in like romantic relationships, but not with the homies. Because I don't know how my male friendships be real light. Like they strong. Like you gonna fall out with your homie either over a woman or over some money. Like those are the rare. Or if you getting jumped and you don't help. Like those are the three riffs that will happen in a male friendship. So it don't really be that heavy. And I think also. Yeah. I don't talk to my homies about no deep, like they have, like, I don't know, with guys, when they going through something, they usually keep it tight, or they talking about that with their girl. So, stuff like that never comes up that heavy.
But you're saying relationships, maybe some.
Oh, yeah, because, shorties be getting upset. Shorties be getting upset. I just don't be that bothered. It was only maybe one time where, I was in a relationship and it was just like, but it got serious, but it wasn't me, no, I'm being serious right now. She thinking I'm playing. It was just, a serious time in the relationship in general. Okay.
Let me ask you this then. Do you find that people always try to joke with you? Because you're a comedian?
And I wish they wouldn't. I wish.
Look, I'm guilty of it sometimes too. Right? If not right now, like we was talking before, but like if I'm commenting on or throwing something in your review, I find myself trying to make the comedian laugh.
Yeah, it's like you guys, you should not do that, guy. Because you know what it's like. It would be like if you were friends with someone who's a singer and you're trying to sing around them. Like, I would never, just respect what they do. Like, I get a lot of memes. Sometimes people send me memes and videos, and it's like,
damn, I've done that before. Shoot.
I was like, I understand it. But sometimes, like, if it's not funny, I don't want to just say laugh out loud if I'm not laughing out loud. So it's a little uncomfortable. But I get the gesture. I get the gesture. I just don't do it.
Yeah, man. I hear that. You talk about laugh out loud too. It's funny because like 90% of the time I'm texting LOL, my face is like this.
Yeah, it would be straight face.
Yeah.
I'm trying to train myself not to do that anymore, and it's been funny.
That is actually a good exercise. Yeah. Like if I'm not really laughing out loud, like I'm not about to type it, maybe I should.
I'm trying to get away from that, and I'll be using the emoji with the nervous emoji with it be the sweat and the smile. I'll be using that a lot when I'm hitting on the ladies, and I'm saying stuff to them.
So what does that emoji mean?
It's like I'm playing but serious. That's how I take it.
Okay.
I'm playing but serious. There's a couple little ladies,
All right, you might get somebody looking at your message.
Man, I'm a family man, man. I'm a family man. I need to get to it.
So you do get people that's trying to come to you with jokes, and that makes sense too. All jokes aside, like I could see it being kind of offensive now, looking at it from that light. Like
it ain't offensive, but it's just like
it's too harsh.
No, it's not offensive, but it's just like, man, I consume so much comedy, like, and I'm watching people like, shout out Lamont King, he did my show, Paris, like, these are like some of the funniest people in the country.
Was Lamar yesterday?
Yeah, Lamont King.
With the hat?
With the hat. That's
it's
so funny, man. Hilarious. I'm on the school bus and this guy's on the radio show. I forget what station he was on, either 95.5 or KYS, but I used to hear this dude on the radio, and years down the line, we both doing comedy. It's crazy, man. Messiah too.
Yeah.
Shout out to Messiah. I'm in high school seeing him perform on the Apollo, doing Sharika Was a Champ. Down the line, we end up going to the same university, and I'm working with him. It's crazy. Yeah. That always tripped me out.
I mean, it tripped me out now, thinking about just where y'all are now, because like I said, y'all are the experts and leaders in y'all profession, and to think that you know what I'm saying, we kind of known each other for so long is crazy. But really quick about Lamont King. In his skit, he was talking about his kids and how like they come home with some stuff that he gotta like put on. He put it on the water heater or something like that. He said.
Oh, no, that was Alex. That was Alex Brown. That was Alex Brown.
Well, shout out to Alex too.
Yeah.
And that stands out for me
because
I got some stuff for my kid that's to the side.
I ain't mad at that.
Home.
That's hilarious.
Who else do you watch? Like, what's comedians? I know you mentioned a couple, but like, who's hilarious to you, whether the world knows them or not?
You know, I don't enjoy a lot of like most of the stuff on Netflix. I think it's just mid. But like comedians that I could rewatch all the time. Definitely Dave Chappelle. The late Patrice O'Neal. Those are like the two.
Okay.
And then it's like, oh, shout out Tyree Elaine. She's hilarious too. She's out L.A. And then Paris, Ashley, like those are people I be watching, man. Like my peers is cool that my peers are, doing such great things. They just so damn funny, and they been funny. That's the thing. Yeah. They've been funny. Their material has just grown because they live in life and they talking about their lives.
Yeah.
But they've been funny, man. That's generational talents, man.
Facts. That's how I look at you too, man.
Funnier and funnier. It's crazy.
That's how I look at you. I look at everybody in the circle, right? I'm a big on like, all right, maybe somebody went viral or they got a following now, but like me, I'm looking at the person, and if they're not just funny, like if they're solid with what they're doing, and that's kind of what I rate more than I know nowadays. Everybody's kind of looking at your follower count and all of that stuff, but. The cool thing is like, and it's not surprising to me seeing the success because I'm like, yeah, I mean, the same dude that I know back then that y'all getting to know about it now. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about you, my brother, Messiah, my little brother, Kariga, like everybody that I've known is solid. It's just like, yeah, it was just a matter of time. And it's still a matter of time before even, the more success comes. That doesn't change how I feel about you and everything that you've done. What's like some of the, you said you had some stuff coming up next.
Yeah.
What's some of the things that once, you kind of cleared this space, what are you looking to do as far as next steps?
Oh, definitely doing this short film.
Okay.
With niggas. We doing the short film. We did the first 2 seasons, so instead of doing a 3rd season, I was like, man, let's do a short like film, and I want to do it in the vein of like an action comedy, doing our own stunts and everything. So that's what's next. And yeah, man, we're doing these shows, man. I feel like there's a void of black comedy in the city, like not even just in DC, just in general, like a black comedy club. You would think there are a bunch in New York now that just popped up. They got like 3 black comedy clubs in New York, and I think that's super dope. And I think it's just it's cool. It would be cool to have that space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cause it's just a different vibe. Like that show for me last night was just so fun. Seeing all these people from so many walks of life and people that I've met in so many walks in my life, all in the same spot, and we all laughing together, man. Like just that vibe I want to recreate. And have that, as much as possible.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
This is kind of old news now and old information or old news. What's your take on the whole Will Smith, Chris Rock thing? Chris Rock, comedian. Will Smith, kind of more so actor than comedian.
Yeah. He was really upset. He lost it, man, to slap a nigga in the face at the how livid. It's the straw that broke the camel's back. It was messed up, man. I don't. A lot of people ask the question like, would he have smacked somebody else like that? I don't know. Like Chris Rock is not an opposing guy. Like. If that's I'm not gonna say that. But I mean, you slap Chris Rock. I mean, it's not cool. And it's just like, do you forgive that? Like, I feel like they gotta shoot the square one. But Rock, I don't think Chris Rock want to do that. Will Smith, he's a big guy.
Yeah, he's a little bit bigger than Chris.
And yeah, they wanted him to host the Oscars next year. I heard, and he declined.
Who?
Chris Rock. They invited him back. That shit is so crazy.
It was crazy.
I don't know what he thought when Will Smith was charging the stage like that. I would have been ready for some smoke.
Right after the jokes too, to the wife, and then he was screaming, right?
No, not when he was screaming after he slapped him.
You're right.
But so that's why when niggas be like, I'm always wary of people who are always friendly and nice like that.
That's something boiling his.
Because I feel like Chris wasn't ready for the slap just because of how Will is, and he just didn't know. Yeah. And I was like, man, thank God he ain't punched. Because if he punched, he would have knocked him out.
Yeah, for real.
So it was more he wanted to he felt disrespected. He wanted to give that disrespect back. That's why he did an open hand. Because, you know, slapping is ridiculous. Can you imagine a man slapping you in your face? Damn. He wants to disrespect you. That's and he feels like you're not going to do nothing.
Yeah, that's what
you a slap means.
Slap. Yep, that's how
I want to disrespect you, and you ain't going to do anything. That's what a slap says when a man slaps another man. I want to disrespect you, and you're not going to do anything.
It means both of those things at the same time.
It's true.
So you more so understand, like, you were with the Chris Rock, like, yeah, that was too far.
Yeah, I mean, let me see if somebody said that to my wife. I wasn't taking someone disrespecting my wife lightly. Mm-hmm. The G.I. Jane wasn't that jarring of a joke, though.
And everybody tried to point it to, like, oh, you know, I guess around her round table, she had mentioned the alopecia stuff. So, I mean, maybe he was thinking that. I think I also heard, like, it stemmed from other conversations and conflicts they had in the past. And then Will Smith, you know, he's been like the butt of all jokes. You know what I'm saying? Future coming out to talk about his wife, and
that's true. And I will say this: when you're a jokey comedian like Chris Rock, it rubs people the wrong way. People, because this happened to me before. People will read that as obnoxious, and sometimes when you obnoxious, somebody wants to put hands on you. So that's also a thing to take in account. Like, everybody not with all that. You can't joke with everybody all the time. Yeah,
I was just about to ask you that.
Yeah, I had people want to fight me because I was joking. I was like, let me reel it back a little bit. I was like, let me reel it back, man. Let me reel it back. People they be upset, man.
So, like, and you don't necessarily mean anything by it, but you're dealing with people that you might not know what's going on in their head. So you might innocently be approaching it like, oh yeah, you know, it's good material.
Make sure you're amongst friends. When you on that, make sure you're amongst friends when you're on that type of time, because somebody might pull your coat, be like, all right, let's go outside. And like,
somebody might walk up on you with an open hand.
Listen, I hope nobody think they're gonna slap me. You might as well just knock me out, man. We going to
come back, which is probably why it's kind of tough for Chris Rock to kind of forget. Because I feel like, as a comedian too, don't you have to have kind of like somewhat of a thick skin? Like, I hear about this all the time too, and I've seen it with some comedians. I'll leave them nameless, where maybe they go back and forth with each other. Michael Blackson and Kevin Hart, the thing they had before, right? Yeah. Whereas like Michael Blackson is the type where he kind of have no cut cars, and he's always joking directly. Right. And I think Kevin Hart at one point took something personal, kind of took it somewhere that Mike was kind of thrown off by, because he's like, as a comedian, like, this is what we do. Is there any truth? What side of that do you kind of fall on? Like, thick skin to a certain point?
My skin is pretty thick, but I think everybody has their triggers or their sensitive spots where you shouldn't joke with them about this subject. And everybody's spot is different. Some people got a lot more spot than others. I think that whole thing was centered around, like, when he was going through it with his now wife, when he had just got caught cheating. So I can understand why he would be like, you know,
chill.
Yeah, I can understand that. And I wouldn't joke with a friend, even if they're a comedian. When they're going through something like that, I wouldn't joke with them like that about that. I just wouldn't do it. So,
and maybe to a certain degree, thinking about that, I mean, like we said, Will Smith is more actor, but sometimes he jokes a lot. You know what I'm saying? So people might perceive him as a comedian, and maybe Chris Rock was more so thinking like, maybe this is more comedian to comedian now. He can appreciate a good joke. When in Will's head, and that's the variable. Like, you don't know what's going on in somebody else's head. He been getting so many hits from all over that this is probably like the camel. I
think it was
the straw that broke the camel.
I think it was. He slapped it. It was a good slap.
Yeah, it was I thought it was fake.
Chris ain't fall though. I did too. Until I seen when he was cussing, I knew it. Because he was turning red. Keep my butt.
Yeah.
Out your fucking mouth. He was so livid. I haven't been that angry in a minute. I can't even recall being that upset. He was really livid.
But that's what I was thinking too, because when it happened, I was telling everybody, I'm like, yo, it's just fake. They trying to get ratings. I literally believe that. The problem too, because we're talking about a comedian, one of the greatest, with also a known nice guy / comedian, and they're sharing jokes. Kind of that's what they do as the host. That's why he was brought there.
Right.
But then at the same time, Will is an actor and a hell of an actor. So then it's like, how do you even decipher what's real and fake is kind of what was my issue, trying to figure out if this is real or not. Because I'm like, Will...
You reading reactions.
Even in his show. And I'm like, I've seen Will play them roles where...
Oh, I ain't never seen Will like that good.
That good?
I think I've seen Will's best performance in that Serena and Venus movie. I think that's one of his better performances, but I ain't never seen that.
So that was authentic.
You seen his face? He had a vein coming, and then afterwards, Chris Rock he kept doing it. He was stumbling over words.
Yeah.
It was the reaction of somebody who got slapped in the face.
That's when I knew it was real. More so, like you said, that's a good thing to point out. Like the vein, you can't really fake that. No matter how much acting.
That was real.
But like Chris Rock's, how he kind of was flustered. I was like, okay, maybe this might be real. But like, I don't know, man. Because I think about that situation. It's good getting a comedian's perspective on it.
Emotions, man. Think about the emotion of you just slapped a nigga at the Oscars. There's that emotion.
Yeah.
You were so mad you slapped a nigga at the Oscars, and then everybody just saw you get slapped.
Yeah.
Everyone saw. Oh my God.
And you're on live national TV.
On stage. Everyone saw. And Chris Rock got a history of being bullied, man. It's terrible. I feel like, I know people say violence isn't the answer. I think he owes Will a fair one. That's the only way there will never be a reconciliation.
Slap for slap. But even if he got to slap him
slap
again,
wouldn't even do it.
It won't do it because it's
slap
like
won't do it. This is what the kids say. Chris has to up it. He has to punch Will in the nose. That's the only way to make it right. That's the only way to make it right.
Yeah, I saw Will's apology, and I felt it too. But the thing is, too, it's tough for an actor because it's like. Who knows how you really feel? I mean, like you said, I think that reaction was real.
Yeah.
But like, it's hard to know when you're putting on as an actor because it's just like, dang, you're so damn good that like your apology could be scripted that you acted out real good.
Yeah, that apology wasn't. It wasn't convincing to me. I think something about it. Yeah, it wasn't too convincing.
Fell short.
Yeah, but I mean, you just slap somebody, man. How much? Come on.
Yeah, man.
Slap somebody in the face.
Yeah.
I have never slapped a person
never.
in the face.
No, never.
To slap a person in the face? Have you been slapped? Let me see. Has a shorty slapped me? I don't even think a woman has slapped me before. Mm-mm.
Well, I got spit on by a girl before.
Why would she do something like that? My God.
It was my girlfriend at the time too.
Oh, y'all was beefing.
She was beefing. I was fine.
I've never been spat on. That is correct.
Yeah.
A girl I used to date punched her baby father in the face, and I thought that was cute. I forgot what he said something to her while she was pregnant. I think when women want to punch, I just think that's so cute. Like, what's wrong with you? Why are you trying to fight? And some women will fight. They will fight a nigga. And I just like that's so deranged.
Yeah, but then
it's passion.
Yeah, man. It ends up. That gets tricky. Like my situation, that piece was, like you said, like what was the situation? For me, I was like disengaged and kind of like just chill.
They don't like that.
And they were upset and more upset that I wasn't upset.
They don't like that.
And then it
gets nasty.
Yeah,
and we don't talk enough about this in the domestic community. Women will up it. A lot of women, I won't say a lot, a good number of women will up it.
Yeah, she upped it. She upped from...
And I'm like 5'9". A lot of shorties, they will think they can whoop you just because you ain't 6'something". It's crazy. A shorty said I was dealing with, she said, I was like, what? Oh, it's craziness.
Yeah, man. That's what we got. Well, that's what y'all got to deal with. I ain't got to deal with that no more.
Yeah, you living a life, man. You gonna find you a good woman. Good for you.
Shout out to wifey.
Yeah, they out here.
They are. They're rare. And so if you fellas, if you got one, you got to capitalize because somebody else will. I knew that right away when I met my wife. I was like, yeah, because she not even from here, so I was like, they not nice around DC like this.
Nah, you got
you be like, hey, what's up? I don't want to talk to you. Like, well, I just said hi. That's how they are here. So she's the type that's like, we went out the country once, and like I'm like, all right, we're gonna go through this crowd because everybody's gonna want to try to, sell you something. Don't look at anybody. She's walking through. Hi, how are you?
Oh my god.
People like, how are you? I'm doing good. How are you? I'm like,
I'm gonna upcharge you.
Yeah, that's how she is. So it's some of what makes her what makes her great and who she is, but also. In the wrong hands.
No, yeah, somebody will turn people around, man. What they say, once a good girl gone bad, she's gone forever.
Man, that's a fact.
That's what Jigga said.
Oh man, so that was good talking about that Will Smith, Chris Rock situation because I always wanted a different take and wanted to hear from a comedian, and so
that's crazy.
So if you are, what advice would you give a comedian, right? Because it sounds like you've been in some of those instances. If you're a comedian, what's a good message overall? Like, it's going to be some challenges along the way, how to power through those.
It's funny.
Where not to step.
Not to cut you off, but because I wanted to mention this earlier, but now you kind of laid it up. I remember I was doing a show in Temple Hills. I was in Temple Hills. Say no more. Temple Hills. Earthquake was, I don't know if he was headlining or he was just dropping in, but he was there, and I was like, man, this is a DC legend. I'm gonna get some advice because I was a young comic. I said I'm gonna get some advice from Earthquake, and I came up to Earthquake, and then the show I was like, man, you got any advice? I'm a comedian. I said, you got any advice? He was like, man, he said, just keep going. And at the time, I was like, what type of BS ass advice? What is that? What? I was already doing that. But on some real talk, man, that is some great advice. Keep going. Like, it might be times where you slow up or your pace slows down, but you got to keep going because I know a lot of people that did not, like, they quit. Like, things got in the way. They had kids or they... focus more on their job or whatever, and they just don't be around anymore. And I'm like, damn, and these are funny people, so you got to keep going. And you got to work smart. I make it a point to work smart, and get out of my comfort zone. Sometimes being in your comfort zone will hold you back. Don't spite yourself. Don't spite yourself.
I mean, one of the products that I got now, I'm gonna have more merch on is, uncomfortable, and in parentheses, because a lot of times being uncomfortable means that you're growing, right? And it always is uncomfortable at first, and then what's uncomfortable gets comfortable as you get more time. Then it's time to get uncomfortable and grow into something else.
100%.
But a lot of times we always want to be comfortable, but you just got to be careful because if you are very comfortable, that means that you've kind of mastered the space you're in and you're not really pushing into another space.
That's 100% true.
That's what's up, man. Where can we find you? How do we follow you? How do we get hold of the merch?
Listen, man, the merch is a specialty item. It's only, you got to catch me, man. It's not going online. You got to come to the shows.
Ooh.
You got to come to the shows if you want to get the merch. I got the Rallo Review shirts embroidered, and I got the hoodies because winter's coming. Winter's coming, so when that weather drop, I'm gonna have the hoodies. I'm gonna have the hoodies for you too. My website is RalloBoykins.com. Real easy. Follow me on the gram and TikTok. That's where the Rallo's reviews live. They live mainly on Instagram and TikTok at Rallo Boykins, RalloBoykins. And I appreciate the people, man. I appreciate the black people, man. I ain't gonna lie, I love y'all to death, man.
That's what's up, man. I know you're based out of New York now, so you kind of in DC for a short time.
Brooklyn, yeah.
Anything going on out there that you want to throw out or shout out any group or club out there?
So I've launched this show series called Why Are We Like This, and it's honestly it's the funniest comedians in whatever city I'm in. I just did one in New York last week. August 24th with Pete. Look these people up. Don't even take my word for it. I'm real particular about how I book my shows because I'm booking people that make me laugh. I want to sit back at my own show and laugh, and I've been able to do that. So PD Diablo was on my New York show, Jody Robinson, Chris Brown, not the singer, what is it? Chris Brown, comedian from Atlanta, like they was on the show, hilarious, man. Generational talents. And then in DC, Paris Sashay, Lamont King, Ashley Mayo, man, just hilarious. Shout out Anthony Oakes, he hosted for me, Alex Brown, like just funny people, man. Like I love it when people hit me up like, man, that was the funniest. That's what people hit me up. That was the funniest show, and that shit make me feel good. Cause damn it, the shows don't be good sometimes. It be mid. They be putting mid comedy on Netflix. They put it on TV. I'm trying to show people what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, while also creating that stage and sharing it, cause that's a bar. A gem right there too. Cause a lot of times we want to be like, all right, I got this platform now, and it's mine. We don't want to be out. We don't want anyone to outshine.
Oh no!
But I think in that way we stunt our own potential and our growth. And what you're doing, like your show was the whole thing was hilarious. You know what I'm saying? Well, I was like, all right, I'm gonna pop in because I know I'm trying to hit another event, and I found myself stuck. Like, man, this is, so I mean, that's kudos to kind of sharing and not being stingy, and speaks to the team dynamic that you were talking about.
Yeah, it's all about the team. But yeah, I've never been that way. A lot of times in the arts, like when I was coming up, it would be a comedian hosting a room, and they just doing so much time. They doing 45 minutes up front. They bring one comedian on. After they done, they do another 15 minutes. I've never been like that. I mean, like, let's keep it moving. I like being funny, but not enough to just be overdoing it, man. It's like, do your time and throw somebody else to oop. I've never been like that, but I get it. Some people, this is their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's other shit I want to do.
But that's a good point to make too. Like sometimes it's like be funny and then kind of pass it on. Don't try to, because you might drag it on and water it down too much.
Yeah,
trying to hold it.
I've never been like that, man. This is for all of us. I'm just glad people came out.
That's what's up, man.
Themselves.
That's what's up. So you know where to find Rallo. Go follow him right now. Check out all of that material. I'm telling you, you're going to go to his page and get stuck. Follow it. Follow him and everybody else that he shout out. Kudos and shout out to all of those comedians as well, man. Again, thanks a lot for coming through, man. This was a great conversation.
Man, thanks for having me, man.
No, anytime, man. Anytime you back.
I had to come back because I be telling a lot of people no. I can't. It's just me. I be busy. I don't want to go out the way.
Yeah.
But I had to come out for Ro. I said, let me come out, man. Let me come out for my mans.
That's love, man. Definitely appreciate it, man.
No, I appreciate you, man. Keep it up, man. Hey, you already successful.
You already successful, man. You already were. Facts. That's 100% based on everything we just talked about. That's a wrap. Do me a favor. Like, tap, share, subscribe, and come back. Peace.